Hey folks, Dude here, coming at you on of all things Monday, February 8th, 2016. End of the football season. Congratulations to the Broncos. Um, you and the Panthers definitely had an interesting game. I think, unfortunately, the Panthers were pretty much outclassed. I mean, they kind of went in there, they were kind of showing pretty good for the first half, then kind of choked. The Broncos figured out their offense, they figured out their defense, and there's a reason why they won. Probably Peyton Manning is probably going to announce the fact that he's retiring. I mean, the guy's not exactly young anymore. He's had enough injuries. He's come back. He's won another Super Bowl. You pretty much do those things. It's probably time to cash out. The other thing, too, is also he's going to make a lot more money as a civilian and not as a playing player because he'll have full ability to do stuff and do things when he wants to in his own timetable. That's good stuff about that there. Now, what I do want to also get to, into the meat of the matter, is also this. The presidential debate. There's two things I saw that are completely and absolutely just so standout. It's ridiculous. Number one, there's some other guys besides Donald Trump that showed and looked really good during that. Yeah, the last time they're getting together for a presidential debate. The last time. Chris Christie stood out. Rubio looked better. Kasich, unfortunately, he's not a good person to get the large numbers, but every time he comes up, he's a nice guy who puts in good points and says exactly what needs to be said. Kasich, can never get his name right. Kasich is just, he's a good guy. I mean, I don't mind him. I wish he would go further. If he stayed in somebody's cabinet as, like, one of those important type of guys, he'd be a very, very good asset. I'd see him in a presidential cabinet being a very good egg. What really did stand out to me, though, was the fact that of all people, read like number 7, 8, 9, 12, 15, whomever now, probably just above, Carly Fiorina, is Jeb Bush. Also known as the establishment rhino, blue blood, that side of the RNC group of a-holes who are controlling power brokers. He is their bitch. Plain and simple, he is their bitch. And he made it a point to go after Donald Trump. So much so that Donald Trump was like, oh, okay, you want to play the tough guy? Here we go. And literally what it was Jeb Bush said, okay, you have eminent domain and blah, 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 and you tried to screw a little old lady out of her place to build a parking lot for rich guys' limos. And he's like, okay, first and foremost, and he had to break over the crowd because the crowd was like booing on him and just, really just not being very respectful. And he was like, look, you guys are this, that, and the other thing. And Jeb kept interrupting him. Finally, he just looks at Jeb and goes, look, quiet, let me talk. Because of all things, Donald Trump doesn't have, little dingleberries. He's got a big pair swinging underneath. He's got a set, okay? He's got coconuts. He's not a whip. You don't go up to Donald Trump, talk smack, and think he's going to back down. He won't. So essentially what he did was he answered Jeb Bush's statement about, the pipeline from Canada and eminent domain being this, that, and the other thing, public versus private, to be for eminent domain being applied upon properties for you to do things that you wish to do. And Donald Trump basically smacked him over the head. He goes, first and foremost, the little lady didn't get screwed over stuff. Second off, if you do actually sell out with eminent domain, you do very, very well. You get market rates. And if you're smart, you ask for more than market rates. You tell them in no certain terms, you're going to have to buy me out. It is not going to be cheap. I don't want to leave. I like this place. Okay, add some zeros. Okay, you can take the place. I'll move. That's what Donald Trump was saying. Eminent domain as a tool for schools and places, and the pipeline coming out of, I forget what the name of it is, the oil pipeline coming out of Canada, where it's like, they're going to need eminent domain to make that thing happen. So case in point, he's saying eminent domain is not a bad thing. Second off, this thing that you're trying to say, well, first off, the little lady didn't lose her place. Second off, that wasn't really truly eminent domain, but if you want to really go there, that's fine and good. But let me explain to you how things actually work with eminent domain. And he said, if there's no eminent domain, we do not have schools, we do not have malls, we would not have roadways, we wouldn't have these various things that we need in place to actually build society, make society work, because they have to be in certain places that other things are in place of. You have to seize that property. Of course, compense or recompense those people who had it, buy it from them, this, and the other thing. But he smacked Jeb Bush over the head and said, look, dickless, first off, don't throw that in my face like that. He didn't say it like that, but that was definitely the attitude. And of all the things in a presidential debate, that was glaring. The other thing that was glaring And this is right at the opening of it, okay? Most people kind of were like, wow, Ben Carson really screwed up. He didn't come out when they called him. Well, maybe he didn't hear them. There was other candidates that said, I didn't really hear you that good. But literally what it was Ben Carson came out, to the eaves, the sides. You basically have the curtains on the side of the stage that you can't see what's behind the curtain. It's one of those old stagehand tricks. If you have curtains on the side of the stage, somebody could be standing off on the sides, on the eaves, and you will never know what they're doing. I literally stood on the side of the stage when Quiet Riot was playing on stage, and I was like, there going, yeah, this is great. There's actually pictures on Facebook of me doing it. I was literally 20 feet away from the band. You couldn't see me really from the audience, though, because I was too far in the curtains. If you got just the right angle, you could see me, but I was right there on the stage with the band. But case in point, Ben Carson came out, and he kind of halfway went out, and he stopped inside the side there going, did you guys call me, or what's the deal here? So they're calling all the other presidential candidates, and they're going by him, and they're like, hey, man, how you doing? Why aren't you coming out? And he's like, I don't know if they call me or not. So everybody's like walking by, and they're kind of like, okay, give him the you're a dumbass look. Trump comes out, and he's like, whoa, wait a second, what's going on here? And they actually called Trump 2 or 3 times. And he's like, man, well, what's going on? I thought you were supposed to go first. He's like, I don't know. And you can see them talking back and forth. It's like, I don't know if they called me or not. He's like, I think they did call you. You know what? Well, I'll tell you what, man. I'm going to hang out here, and I'm going to wait to see if they call you, because I'm not going out before you. You're before me. So literally, Trump, the biggest name in the room, Trump did not go out there and waited for Ben Carson to get called first. It's kind of a little bit of a gentleman's actions there. So literally everybody went by, including Jeb Bush, these supposed protectors and those guys who stand up for the little guy, acted like effing politicians and effing political greedy assholes as they went by Donald Trump and Ben Carson to take their place on the stage versus going, hang on a second here, Ben's first. The only person that said that, and the only person that actually had those actions and did that, was Donald Trump. Shows character. Shows just a little bit more, just kind of, hey man, I thought you were first, buddy. I'll wait for you to go out first. It's not that big a deal, I know they're going to call me. It's not that big a deal if I go out first or last. I'm still going out the door. I don't care. But it was kind of one of those almost protocol things where Ben Carson was kind of like, I don't know if they called me yet. And he's such a nice, laid-back, humble guy that he wasn't going to be like, hey, move, get out of my way. I'm this guy. He wasn't that type of person. And of all those things, Trump wasn't either. That, to me, was the most glaring thing out of that whole presidential debate. And the other thing, too, was also because of the hostile audience, Trump pretty much made the statement. He's like, look, you guys are going on. You guys are the donors. You guys are the political guys for all these other guys. You're not there for me. My people tried to get tickets for my people to actually watch me come out. They couldn't get a hold of any tickets. So you guys are the donors. You guys are the money men. I don't need you, okay? I am self-financing. I am not in anybody's pocket. I will stand up for the people. I will not stand up for me because you guys are throwing money in my back pocket. I don't roll that way. I am self-financing, which I thought was just an absolute slam dunk in your face, even to a whole crowd of people booing at him at the time. And they were booing him. It was not even slight. He was getting booed constantly, and he overrode them going, look, quiet. Let me talk. Which I really like about the guy. He's got a pair. He's not one of these suck-up politician types, and he actually does show some conscience for dealing with other people. He's not like a, gotta bully you over kind of guy. He's like, look, man, I'm still going to get my time on stage. It's not that big a deal. I can hang back for a second. Shows character, shows the fact he's confident, and it shows the fact that these political hacks are exactly the kind of assholes that we don't need in the White House any longer. I'm going to bring up on this one, folks. Eat good, keep it centric. As always, you know it, you love it. They're politicians, okay? Donald Trump isn't. I like that. I'll bring up on this one, guys. Okay, there's something else I kind of really noticed, too, about this thing that was going on. If these guys were doing their spiel and they were relating something, they were basically talking and they were carrying on about, like, well, in my platform and my cabinet, when we're all set up, or this, that, and the other thing. And then the bell would go, bing, 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 and you'd hear it go, every single one of these candidates, every single one, and you can watch the replays, every single one when they're making their statements, stuttered. And when the bell went off, they stuttered. And it's like, well, and this, that, and the other. And then I will this, that. Every single one of these guys stuttered. And it was pointedly because when the bell went off, they were like, knocked off their game. Reason being is these guys are so polished to rehearse. They're saying their script and they're spitting it out and they have to hit a certain time point that when the actual bell goes off, it freaks them out because their handlers tell them, okay, spit this thing out, but relax. If you go 10 seconds over the bell, it's not a big deal. But when the bell goes, they're going, because they're not ready for when the bell goes off. I'll tell you guys from my own personal experiences here, trying to do like scripts and stuff when I do voice work for like podcasting and whatnot. Trying to hit a time point is not easy. But then trying to hit a time point where something interrupts you, you're going, especially when the script's in front of you. So that's what it was. These guys had their handlers programmed to say a script, and the bell went off, and it freaked them out. The only two people that didn't do that was Ben Carson and Donald Trump. The only two people. Why? Because they weren't reading the script. They were speaking from their hearts. That's the difference.